The players of the WNBA can't fucking stand her. Why? Because she's white. It's abject, absolute racism.
I do think that there is a thing called pretty privilege. There is a thing called white privilege. There is a thing called tall privilege. And we have to acknowledge that.
Caitlin Clark is changing the future of basketball, especially for women, in ways that no one saw coming. She is someone who can single-handedly transform how people see the WNBA and women's sports in general. Her impact is undeniable, and her skill set is impossible to ignore. She has already set records and achieved milestones that most players could only dream of. But what really makes her special is how she's sparking debates, drawing attention, and even facing criticism, all because she's so good at what she does.
Caitlin Clark. So Caitlin Clark of Iowa, but now playing for Indiana in the WNBA, gets honored in time as the Athlete of the Year.
Caitlin Clark has already made history in college basketball, and her list of achievements is nothing short of mind-blowing. Let's talk about her numbers because they tell the real story. She is the NCAA Division I all-time leading scorer, and she also holds the single-season three-point record. No one has ever scored more points in a single season of women's Division I basketball than Caitlin. She is the career leader in three-pointers and holds tournament records for points, assists, and three-pointers. These aren't just random statistics. They are proof that she is in a league of her own. Her ability to dominate on the court is unmatched.
Ability that this South Carolina team has. Clark didn't get much space there with Hall on her. Clark, the crossover, and the hit from three.
Even when she started as a freshman, it was clear that Caitlin was special. She won awards like Big Ten Freshman of the Year and the WBCA Freshman of the Year. Over time, the accolades just kept piling up. She is a two-time AP Player of the Year and has won the Wade Trophy twice. She has also been named the Big Ten Player of the Year 3 times. The list of her accomplishments is so long that it's hard to keep track of everything. But the point is simple. Caitlin Clark is not just good, she's extraordinary. What makes her even more impressive is the way she plays.
Martin looking. Here's Clark. She fires and goes! She hit it!
If you've ever seen her highlight reels, you know what we are talking about. She doesn't just score points, she scores them from everywhere. She has no problem shooting from way beyond the three-point line, making it look effortless. Her range is incredible, and her confidence is unmatched. Watching Caitlin play is exciting because you never know what she's going to do next. She can take over a game in an instant, and her passion for basketball shines through every time she steps on the court.
Acknowledged her privilege as a white person in a league built on the contributions of black players. In her Time interview, she stated,
Caitlin Clark is also a polarizing figure, and that's partly because she is so successful. Some people criticize her, saying that her success is because of her race. They claim that she wouldn't get as much attention if she wasn't white. But when you look at her numbers, it's clear that her achievements are the result of hard work and talent, not privilege. Breaking records and dominating in basketball isn't something you can fake.
22 years old, she had a record-breaking season with the Indiana Fever. In the WNBA, she shattered 6 rookie records for points and assists, 4 franchise records, and multiple all-time NBA records, including the most assists in a single game, 19.
You don't become the NCAA scoring leader just because of your skin color. You become that by putting in countless hours of practice, by being relentless on the court, and by being better than everyone else. This brings us to the larger conversation about women's basketball. For years, the WNBA has struggled to get the attention it deserves. People criticize it for not being as exciting as men's basketball, saying that the players aren't as athletic or that they don't dunk enough.
The players of the WNBA can't fucking stand her. Why? Because she's white. It's abject, absolute racism.
But Caitlin Clark is proving that women's basketball can be just as entertaining and competitive. Her style of play, her skill, and her ability to bring excitement to the game are exactly what the WNBA needs. She has the potential to bring in new fans and make the league more popular than ever before. Of course, not everyone is happy about this. Some people like Sunny Hostin from The View have made comments that downplay Caitlin's accomplishments. They argue that she benefits from white privilege or pretty privilege, but these arguments miss the point. Caitlin isn't just popular because of how she looks or because of her race. She's popular because she's changing the game. She's setting records, inspiring young girls, and making people care about women's basketball in a way that hasn't happened before. The criticism Caitlin faces also shows a double standard. When male athletes dominate their sport, they are celebrated. But when a female athlete does the same, people look for reasons to tear her down.
That there is a thing called pretty privilege. There is a thing called white privilege. There is a thing thing called tall privilege. And we have to acknowledge that. And so part of it is about race.
This says more about the critics than it does about Caitlin. Instead of celebrating her achievements, they focus on irrelevant factors like her race or appearance. It's unfair, and it takes away from what she has accomplished through hard work and dedication. Caitlin's success is also significant because it's happening at a time when women's basketball is starting to gain more recognition. The WNBA has been around since 1997, but it has always struggled to compete with the NBA in terms of viewership and popularity. This isn't because women's basketball is less valuable. It's because it hasn't had the same level of investment or promotion. Caitlin Clark could change that. She has the talent and the personality to bring in a new audience. She's making people pay attention, and that's exactly what the WNBA needs to grow. When it comes to sports, entertainment value plays a huge role. People want to see skill, energy, and passion on the court, but they are also drawn to players who have charisma and presence off the court.
I played basketball with my dad in Harlem when I was 5 years old. So I remember loving the game, and the game not necessarily loving women back, right? At all.
Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese are examples of players who bring both. The issue of marketability has long been a problem for the WNBA. Critics argue that the league has struggled to promote its players effectively. Some fans claim that many WNBA players do not fit the traditional mold of what the public considers marketable. For example, some players are described as too masculine or lacking the kind of image that appeals to a wider audience. This criticism can be harsh and unfair, but it highlights the challenges the league faces when trying to compete for attention in a world dominated by the NBA and other major sports leagues. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese have shown that marketability can come in many forms. Caitlin Clark has been praised not just for her basketball talent, but also for her approachable personality and polished public image. She is seen as a role model for young girls and an athlete who can inspire the next generation. Angel Reese, meanwhile, is known for her boldness and authenticity.
You see why I said that she should have been on Team USA? You see why I had to go off on the likes of Cheryl Swoops and others who were clearly distant and dismissive of her?
She embraces her identity and isn't afraid to stand out, which resonates with fans who value individuality and confidence. Together, these players are proving that the WNBA can attract attention by showcasing athletes with diverse skills and personalities. One of the most important aspects of building a successful sports league is creating a strong fan base. The WNBA has struggled with this. Surprisingly, women themselves are not always the most supportive of women's basketball. Half of the population is women, but if you go to a WNBA game, you'll notice that the seats are not filled with female fans. Women aren't buying WNBA jerseys or attending games in large numbers, which again raises an important question. Why aren't women supporting women's basketball? Now, we believe that the issue lies in visibility and accessibility. Women's sports, including the WNBA, receive far less media coverage than men's sports. This lack of exposure makes it harder for potential fans to connect with the league. Others suggest that women's basketball hasn't done enough to make itself relatable or appealing to female audiences. The league could benefit from better marketing strategies that highlight not just the players' athletic abilities, but also their stories, struggles, and successes. At the same time, it's important to recognize the role men play in the success of women's basketball. Men are the primary viewers of most sports, and their interest in the WNBA can significantly impact its popularity. The problem is that many men prefer watching the NBA because it offers a faster-paced game with high-flying dunks and intense competition. To attract male viewers, the WNBA needs to focus on what makes it unique. Players like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese bring something fresh to the game, and their rise in popularity shows that men can also become fans if the product is exciting and the players are compelling. One of the challenges facing the WNBA is its association with certain stereotypes. Critics argue that some players are too bitchy or too ghetto to appeal to mainstream audiences. While these labels are unfair and often rooted in prejudice, they reveal the biases that the league must overcome. For example, players like Brittany Griner have faced criticism for their appearance and demeanor, which some people say make them less marketable. This kind of judgment ignores the fact that Griner is an incredible athlete and one of the most dominant players in the game. But it also shows that image matters in sports, especially when trying to attract sponsors and fans. Sponsorships are a most crucial part of any professional sports league, and the WNBA has struggled to secure the kind of deals that can bring in significant revenue.
In sports that's flown commercial or flown, charter, that should be celebrated, and it's because of Caitlin Clark. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it fucked up. Caitlin Clark is the reason why a lot of great things is going to happen for the WNBA.
LeBron James recently praised Caitlin Clark for what she brings to the game. He acknowledged that she is drawing more attention to women's basketball and making people want to watch. This kind of endorsement from a major NBA star shows how important it is to have players who can capture the public's imagination. Caitlin Clark's success has the potential to change how people view the WNBA and encourage more fans to give the league a chance. What's even more exciting about Caitlin is that her journey is just beginning. She still has so much potential, and it's clear that she's not done breaking records or making history. When she eventually moves to the WNBA, she will bring her star power with her. She will attract new fans, increase viewership, and make the league more competitive.
Honestly, I've never talked to LeBron directly, but obviously I've seen he's commented about myself, and I just saw this morning he talked about women's basketball in general and how good the game is and the stars in our game. And
it's not an exaggeration to say that she could change the future of women's basketball forever. Caitlin Clark is more than just a great player. She is a game changer, a trailblazer, and an inspiration. And that's all we have for today's episode. Please don't forget to give this video a like, smash that subscribe button, and also ring that notification bell for more upcoming uploads.